I actually cannot even believe how amazing so many of you have been. The Good Morning Good Life planner has been so successful. It's been amazing to see how many of you have them at home, on your desks, in your morning routines, in your daily life. We actually sold out of it twice and had to restock. Just amazing. Thank you so much for your ongoing support of the planner. Just so you know, if you haven't heard of it yet, it's all at gatlu.store. That's GATLUW.store. Go check it out if you haven't seen it already. This is a limited edition version. It is a 16-monther. It goes all the way through 2021, through the end of your 2020 even. So lots of good stuff in there. And I show you everything that matters to me in a morning routine, like your movement, your mindfulness, your mastery. So you can check those off every day. Plan your goals. We've got the whole thing in there. So definitely go check it out at gatlu.store if you have not already. It is the perfect partner to your morning routine. Check it out.
She's an award-winning YouTuber and best-selling author, obsessed with helping you go after the life you want.
I like it.
Join her as she seeks out the stories and strategies.
Give me every little detail.
Of extraordinary people who found success.
I'm going to get emotional. Oh my God.
Welcome to Detail Therapy with Amy Landino.
Good morning, good life. Welcome back to Detail Therapy. In this episode, we're going to be getting into the details about confidence, boosting it. How the heck do you get more of it? We're going to talk about that, my experience with it. I'm going to be taking your questions about it and so much more. Especially, what do you do maybe when you encounter a confident person? How can you feed off of that? And if you truly believe in yourself, but you feel disconnected from confidence, what is the root of that and how can we make some changes in a positive direction? If you're new here, hello, my name is Amy Landino and I will be your host. I'm a success coach and founder of Gatlu House, a resource dedicated to helping you go after the life you want. You can see all of our work, including the show notes for this podcast, over at detailtherapy.online. Super pumped to be back in my home office today. I actually kicked off the season at my in-laws' house. It was a lot of fun recording in their basement, the quiet space of the house. Honestly, it is just so good to be home. I feel like I'm back in my mode. And I've been working on a video recently on how I get back into a routine because it's very much the season that I am in at this moment. And everyone's always asking me about that. So watch for that video. It is coming to Amy TV. Go to youtube.com/AmyTV if you want to see that. Of course, lots of other good stuff coming there as well. But we have so much to talk about today when it comes to self-confidence. I was inspired to bring this up because I did an interview the other day with my friend Judy Holler. If you have not listened to the Judy Holler episode of Detail Therapy, it is epic. You absolutely have to listen to it. But I just did her show and we had such a good conversation about confidence because she talks to people about the fear boss mentality. And I just thought, maybe we should dive into this here as well and maybe share a couple of things in my experience, what I've learned about confidence, and take some of your questions to talk about it as well. So I don't want to waste a lot of time because, oh my gosh, the last episode of Detail Therapy, you guys, I don't think we have ever had such a successful season and we've only had one episode. I'm like, wow, you guys were ready for me to come back from that little summer break, weren't you? It's so awesome. So great to see that everybody was pumped. So if you have not listened to that yet, the 7 pillars to the life you want has been a very popular one so far. So check that out. But let's get into confidence because I think when you think about those pillars and you think about it, going after them and saying, okay, how am I doing in each of those areas and how can I continue to improve? You need to have a little bit of confidence on your side, right? What even is confidence? Like, let's just break it down. Well, it's that belief in yourself, right? But I actually believe that there's plenty of people, specifically you maybe, right? You're listening to this podcast. Maybe you watch Amy TV. Maybe you read some self-development books. Maybe you do a lot of things to navigate this space. and you do have that belief in yourself. Otherwise, you wouldn't be looking for the hows and the whys and the tactics and the potential actions you can take unless you believed that there was somebody in you that could do the work, right? I don't think you would be here if you didn't have that belief in yourself. But the confidence might be taking a little bit of a longer time to show itself. And that is why you start to explore this space a little bit more, get the details that you need in order to be able to execute. But that is the core thing, right? Having that belief in yourself. So I think to start, take solace in that, like really be able to absorb that and realize like, I actually do believe in myself. Like maybe you just need to hear yourself say that first, because that's a great starting point. No matter what we do to continue to improve and boost this confidence, the truth about believing in yourself is that it starts with you, and all this other stuff that we might discuss could be internal, but it's probably going to be external, and the internal is going to be the most important, because even when you have some outside gratification that helps move you forward in this area, it's not going to matter unless it truly starts from you. And there are going to be a lot more moments where you're not getting that external gratification and that external confidence boost, and you have to just show up for it. Okay. So remembering that it starts with you and just saying, you know what, Amy, or fill in your name here, I do believe in you. I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't actually care to do the research, to do the work, to try to get better in whatever ways that I think I need to get better. Maybe you looked at those 7 pillars last week and you said, I feel really strong in these 4 areas, but these 3, I definitely have some improving to do. Finding the confidence means starting with the fact that you believe you can do it. And you might even get that from saying, oh, well, I am strong in a few areas. Maybe you need to see that. Maybe you need to give yourself that credit first. So really have that discussion with you to start. Where does that belief in yourself start right now? Because you're going to need to have that in order to even bother with the other things that are going to make you feel more confident on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis. I get the question a lot, and Judy did ask me this the other day too, are you confident? I'm like, are you serious? I am not confident. I am Amy. Nice to meet you. I have confidence. I carry confidence with me in certain ways, in certain quantities, and in certain abundance, right? So for me, I don't wake up every day confident, but I do feel confident in different areas for different things. And I think there's a big helper in that and just seeing the difference, because when we talk about boosting confidence, when we talk about having more courage, we think we have to get to this permanent state. And in my opinion, confidence is not a permanent state. It is a resource. Let me say that again. Confidence is not a permanent state. It is a resource. We need that resource, that stuff that's going to help us in these scenarios. But in order to obtain a resource, we need to be resourceful. We need to build it up. We need to go out and get it. We need to put the reps in. And that is why I always say, I pick up a little confidence every time I do something, and I put it in my pocket and I take it with me. And the more that I do something, the more I get those reps in on something. Let's call it video making. I've made like 3,000 videos in my career, guys. Like, do you think I'm confident at it? Yeah, I've got a lot of things going for me that make me feel more confident in those scenarios. Each project is going to be slightly different. And so I'm not going to say, all cocky, like it's going to be perfect. No, but I can go into the situation confident that we can get the job done. And I can also take criticism because I am confident that I've got experience and I know it can get better and get better. So it's not about being confident. It is about having it. It is about remembering that it's there and pulling from it. So in this situation, I like to recall a question that I probably have talked about on the podcast, at least in a video before, that I learned from Tim Ferriss. If you don't listen to the Tim Ferriss podcast, it's just so good. Just some really deep, amazing conversations happening there. And something that Tim talks about is really asking yourself interesting questions or thought-provoking questions, right? And the one that I love the most is specifically in this area when we talk about getting your reps in. What is your version of a pianist, somebody who plays the piano? They practice scales, right? What is your version of practicing scales? Because no matter how incredible of a piano player that somebody could be, they still do those same practice steps that somebody who's just getting started would be learning, right? So what does that look like? What is that version of that for a tennis player? What is the version of that for somebody who's an on-air host? What is the version of that for a teacher? What is it like to practice scales for you? This is directly connected to your ability to build that confidence. That is why I ask this question, because we are looking for it everywhere. Confidence. How do I get it? How do I grow it? How do I boost it? But what are we actually talking about being confident in? And what are you doing to build your experience with that thing, no matter what it takes, no matter if no one's paying you and it's purely for your own enjoyment and your own satisfaction? What is it that you can do that would help you to get that experience, to help you put a little bit more confidence in your pocket? So ask yourself that question, because again, it's starting internally, and this is how we start to get external, right? Because you actually have to do something now. What are you doing to get that practice in? So much of this is where I have been able to find confidence. One of the things I think, I don't know if you guys have heard, but public speaking is one of the most feared things in the world, only to death. Like, people do not want to be speakers. I never thought I wanted to be a speaker. And even saying it out loud, I'm like, I want to be a like, it's not me wanting to be a speaker. It's me wanting to communicate my message. In high school, terrible in speaking class. I mean, I remember it vividly, and it was not fun. And I have one of those issues, from a social anxiety standpoint and performance, where my knees are knocking in a situation I am uncomfortable like that. However, I went on to become a paid professional public speaker. How is that possible? Well, it was getting the reps in. I started to make video content, and in that video content, I was getting my message out there. I was practicing saying my message, getting good at being a communicator, getting good at being a regular publisher. There's a couple of factors there, 2 things I'm getting confident in at the same time. And the more and more I got my message out there, the more people thought, hey, you should come speak on stage. And I was thinking to myself, are you crazy? I literally sit in a room alone talking to a camera or a microphone, and you think that means I should stand on stage and talk to thousands of people? But what happened was I gave it a shot, because I had practiced the communication. I had practiced being on stage a little bit. It was still not exactly the easiest territory for me to get into, but I practiced. And what I realized when I then walked on stage is that I was so confident in what I had learned about communicating and learned about my message thus far, that I used that as the fuel for that new situation. And that's where you start to see confidence convert into different areas, right? It wasn't that I was so good at speaking, I was ready to be a speaker. It was that I was so practiced in my message that I could now enter a new venue, a new format to discuss it. That is a major difference. And when you think a little bit differently with your mindset in that way, you start to realize, okay, maybe I'm focusing on the wrong things when it comes to boosting my self-confidence. And I've really got to figure out, what are my scales? What are some other ways that we can boost this self-confidence? I actually do think it's helpful to look outside of yourself. You've got to do the inner work, but you can facilitate the inner work from some things happening around you. The tendency sometimes is to see someone confident and feel like a lesser version of ourselves. But I actually would like to have a different approach. I hope you have a different approach when you encounter someone who is confident. And this goes back to, how does someone make you feel, right? Are you following someone who makes you feel like a lesser version of yourself, or are you following someone who makes you want to step into the light? To me, you should know the difference in your gut and you can make that differentiation. But there's a possibility that there could be somebody who actually does make you feel powerful if you chose it. Okay? This comes from the conversation of, is confidence contagious? When I was asked this question, I thought this is a really interesting question because in my opinion, yes, confidence is contagious, but only if you want it to be. Because you could also allow confidence to make you feel jealous or make you feel different or make you feel, again, like a lesser version of yourself. So when you ask yourself, is this person's confidence contagious? You can actually actively make the decision, yes, it is, and you can use it. Or you can say, no, it's not. I need them out of my life. Or you can say, oh, dang, maybe it is. And I have been thinking that because they are confident, I cannot be. And I should turn it around. The scarcity mindset creeps into everything, guys. I literally everything. Confidence may be a resource, but it is your resource to get whenever you want it. So do not allow scarcity to stop you. Look at someone who is confident and say, you know what? I want to feel empowered by them because I love what they're doing. And rather than being jealous, I am going to be happy for them because the more they accomplish, the more I see the possibility for myself. Allow confidence to be contagious by changing your mindset about it. If you see somebody that's successful, don't say to yourself, well, they got that or they have that and I don't have that. So that I feel less confident because I don't think it could be possible for me. Untrue. Success is possible for you if you change your mind about it. Don't make the decision in advance that it can't be for you. Allow confidence to be contagious. When you encounter someone, say it's me. If you're like, wow, Amy sure can talk for a long time on a podcast. Why can't I? That is what you should be saying to yourself rather than, oh, well, Amy already has this game all wrapped up on the podcast. So why would anyone listen to me? Why would anyone care? Because I am not you. You are not me. You offer a different perspective. You have different experiences. And that's the power of what we have the ability to do. Or maybe you want completely different things for yourself. Maybe you want something completely different and there's someone else out there who is achieving those things that you wish you were. Are you wishing but reverting to a version of yourself that is not confident because you think they have it all? Or are you using them as a guide and saying, thank you for being my guinea pig, because now I can see what steps to take? This is just fundamental when you're talking about people who are high performers and the way that they think versus the way the average person deals with information. Don't scroll your Instagram feed and be jealous. Scroll it and look at all the new opportunities that this world has to offer. In preparing for this podcast, I actually went over to my socials and asked all of you what your thoughts were. What were your questions about self-confidence? And Pam S. Lopez on Twitter said, how do I start feeling confident if I feel like I have a lot to learn and experience in order to do my job? Well, I love this so much because there's just inherently so much in this question I want to unpack. Think about just the last few words. In order to do my job. So you're saying you already got the job. So you're saying you have the job. So you're saying you just need to step up to that position because you've already got it and you want to keep it and you want to crush it. That's the amazing news. You've got the job. Feeling confident, even though you feel that you still have a lot to learn, a lot to experience, and maybe you're new, or maybe you feel like you're still not 100% up to where everyone else is. Let me give you a little secret. Everyone feels like that. Especially if they're someone who is thinking positively, thinking high performance, thinking they could do better. That's great. That's super exciting. because it means that you care. And that is number one, huge what your employer wants from you, first of all. And second of all, it means that you're already well on your way. It means that you actually are trying to do this. That needs to be the beginning of your confidence journey here, Pam, because that's powerful. From there, it's just this. You just got to do the work, right? You got to ask questions. You've got to be the annoying person who asks questions, even if your boss doesn't necessarily want to hear about it, because they ultimately know that you learning is going to make you better, which makes you more of an asset. So to feel more confident is to show that you are trying to get your reps in, to show that you are learning, to actually do the learning. Are you researching more about what people have done to be successful in your position, how you can continue to show up in the best, most positive way possible? That's what I want to know, because feeling confident, it's got to start with you. You believe in yourself. You believe that you can do it. You believe that you can go to the next level, but you still have a lot to learn and experience. Yeah, you can't rush that. You can only do one thing at a time. You can only learn so much at a time. You can only experience so much at a time. So yeah, guess what? I still feel the same way. It doesn't matter what accolades I have or what books I've published. I still have a lot to learn and a lot to experience in order to do my job. The confidence is up to me that I will do that work, that I will move forward every day, that I will be a better version of myself than I was the day before. That is how you feel more confident at work. You have to have it internally, because you're not always going to get it externally, because everybody at work is struggling with it internally too. It's like this never-ending cycle where everyone's just pretending, and that's okay. Because I believe in fake it till you make it. As long as you come from an authentic place, as long as you're coming from a place where you actually intend to make it because you're faking it until you learn it or you experience it or you ask the questions so you can try to get there, that's enough, personally. I got another question from my friend 10 Red Toes on Instagram. What do you do when you have the feeling that others are speaking negatively about you? 10 Red Toes, thank you so much. Good to hear from you. Here is definitely not a confidence boost, right? You think that there's others who are poo-pooing you, they are talking negative. Put yourself in their situation, and maybe, not necessarily the exact same situation, just put yourself in the situation where you're talking crap, right? Talking crap about a person, whether you know them personally or you know them politically or you know them from a reality show, and you just talk crap with your friends, right? If you are someone who is always working on themselves, self-improving, I know you have felt like me where if I just had and believe me, I have these conversations. I am not perfect. But if I just had a conversation with someone and I was kind of doing some crap talking, I never feel good about myself after. Ever. I don't. Even if I'm I definitely feel like I'm right, but does it actually matter? How is that person actually affecting my life? And there very well could be a situation for instance, if you have coworkers who are talking negatively about you, their feelings about you feel like are going to affect your work or going to affect your success there. It actually probably doesn't. The thing you need to do is worry about yourself, your approach, your reaction is everything that matters. If someone is speaking negatively about you and not speaking to your face, it's absolutely none of your business, because it probably isn't even true. And it probably isn't even real, and they don't actually care about what your feelings are or what you're doing or why you feel that way or why you did what you did without their own assumptions first. Unless they are coming to you and specifically saying, "Ugh, I don't know why you did that, but can we talk about it because I'm trying to understand." Are they doing that? Probably not. If they're speaking negatively about you, let me give you something. They are bored. They need something to talk about. I often say people are addicted to drama. We all need our talking points to make us feel better. And that's all that's happening. It sucks that you're the person. It's always going to suck that you're the person. But this is why I like to read the Daily Stoic every morning, because I know I need coaching every single day to not overreact to the person who doesn't like me that much or is talking bad about me or is annoying me, so that I can remember that whatever it is, Is it really back-breaking bad in my life? Or is it just something I'm allowing myself to stew on, and I wish everybody in the world liked me, and there's nothing I can do to control that? Getting that perspective every day helps so much with confidence. So much. That's why I recommend that book Up and Down. Even if you don't read the book, you could get the app, you can get the emails. Anything you do to teach yourself about how you react and handling it better, I can't begin to tell you what that has done for my self-confidence. It is unbelievably impactful. Unbelievably. One of the things I recommend you do with your confidence is when you feel those moments popping up, like, oh, I feel like those people are being mean, or they're feeling negative toward me, or they're talking about me, or something's bothering me. Just look at the situation and say, okay, what is bothering me about this? Like, what is the heart of it? How do I get it back to me? How do I get it back to something I can control? Because remember, confidence is contagious if you want it to be. If they are so confident about what they think about you, use that confidence they have to be a better version of yourself. Not necessarily the version that they think would be better of yourself, just what you need in that moment. Allow confidence to be contagious to put you in a better situation. This all comes down to our fears, right? Fear of people not being fans of us, fears of just literally anything that bothers us. Fear of public speaking, fear of doing something different, fear of starting small, fear of doing something different. All of our fears really create the scarcity mindset and make us feel less confident. If we want to boost our confidence, we simply have to remember that you do not need to be unafraid in order to conquer your fears. It is not about being fearless. It is about being self-aware. And when you do that, you will inherently, internally, most importantly, boost your confidence. I'd love your thoughts on this. Okay, I know we had a long conversation about this today, a lot of different directions we went with this. Thanks to everyone who sent their questions so we could have this conversation. I'd love to hear more questions or your follow-up thoughts on this. Anything that was an aha moment for you, go over to our Instagram at Details Podcast. Let me know what you thought. And I also want to say thank you to those of you who have left a 5-star review of this podcast. You have no idea how much that truly supports our work here. It keeps this podcast going, makes it available for you for free every Tuesday. And I want to give a shout out to one of our reviews. Shout out to JOH5319. Your review means so much to me. Thank you so much for taking the time to do that. If you're looking for a little bit more confidence in the mornings to go after the life you want, definitely check out Good Morning, Good Life, the planner. It is restocked and in the Gatlu store. That's at Gatlu, GATLUW.store. I use mine every single day, every single morning, and I know so many of you have been tagging me on Instagram using yours. Thank you so much for that. It has been such an amazing thing to see. Those of you who are really taking your morning routines to start the day on your terms, to get a little bit of confidence before you go into the everyday where things start to waver, but hey, at least you got a little bit of you to start. I love it. It's just, I can't get enough. Please keep tagging me. It's honestly my favorite thing ever. That's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Remember, subscribe for good vibes, kiss the ones you love, and go after the life you want. I'll see you back here on Tuesday. Cheers.